Hello, welcome to the Peaceful Woodturner, piece of Tulip Poplar that came down in a storm a few years ago and was blocking the road. So they cut it out of the road and they moved it off to the side at the edge of this park. And it's been sitting there, like I said, for a few years, drying, looking really nice, just tempting me to go cut some of it. And so I finally did cut it the other day, just took a piece off and brought it home. Went over it, made sure there's nothing in it. This is found wood. You have to always be careful with found wood. There's no nails, there's no screws, there's no wires that I can find in this. And I also made sure there were no critters living in it. I don't want to bring them back to my house, and I don't want to take them away from theirs. So I'm going to turn this, like I said, into kind of a bowl and saucer. I'm going to start off with my roughing gouge, and then I'm going to switch to the spindle gouge and the bowl gouge, and so on. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. drill it out. I find that really gets me a nice smooth core that I can work out from. So I was cleaning it out, and this chip came off in my hand. I don't remember hitting in any way that would have done that. I think it was just a weak spot in the wood, and it just came out, which means my opening is now going to end up being wider. It probably will make things easier for me as time goes on. So we'll start working on widening that out, and then I'll get back to hollowing.
So we're hollowing out nicely. I'm close to the depth I want. But you can also see that it's higher in the center than it is on the edges. So now comes the tricky part of just trying to even out the bottom while at the same time taking out the rest of the material I need to take out. The walls are still a little thick, so I've got a good amount of material to work with, both for smoothing the inside and smoothing the outside. And I've got plenty of material up here to make a nice lip as I keep going. I wonder if I can go any faster. So that's about 1100 RPM. 12, 14. A lot of shake there. All right, I'm close to being able to go at good speed, but for now I'm going to keep it down around 1400 RPM. So mostly the outside looks pretty good. Got some tool marks, got a little bit of tear out. I'm going to try to smooth that out. First, going with the skew, and then I'll switch over to sandpaper. The skew and I don't always get along, so hopefully we will be in agreement today. Well, that was pretty, wasn't it? I have a tremendous amount of trouble being patient as I go through this finishing phase. Some of these spots would tear out. I know shouldn't be there. I know if my technique was a little better, it would be good. But even so, I have to sit here now and stand it out, and I just don't want to. But I'm going to. This is what needs to happen. I will not, however, bore you by showing you all of it. Okay, that feels really smooth. It's looking good. Now here's my big question. I was going to make this a vessel that came off, like a little pot. I think that's what I'm still going to do. But then I was thinking about making this into a saucer for it, and I've been sitting here looking at it and kind of wondering if I should just have it be all one piece. I think I am going to make sure it comes off, though. That's why I was doing a lot of this finishing now, because it's still attached to something. So now I'm going to take it off. So I'm going to keep bringing this down, part it off, and then I'll be able to do a little bit more sanding and finishing on it before I put an actual finish on it. All right, I've got it off. I'm going to work on this a little bit more, but first I am going to turn this down and see if I can make it into a nice little saucer. I'm going to try to leave some of this uneven just to give it a little bit more, well, I know it's overused, but give it a little more character. But I also need to take this down so that it's going to fit this base relatively nicely. Trying to get an idea of where the center is.
You know anybody who might want one sculpted Tulip Poplar coaster? Alright. Gonna shape this and shape the outside. put a dark stain on the inside. I like doing that. It covers up some of the tool marks that I can't sand out well, and it gives kind of an illusion of depth. Unfortunately, because of some of these cracks that actually do go further in than I'd like, the stain came through to the other side, so I ended up having to put a dark stain on the entire thing. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand a lot of this off. Take it down to a bit lighter, a bit smoother, because this was not my intention. And from there I will then go ahead and see what I need to do to adjust the color further, and then put on a finish. So this is 220, and I'm going to be going about 500 RPM, the slowest my lathe will go. I've got it turned around now. Going the other way on it. Just trying to take it all down as smooth as I possibly can. I had a couple of uneven spots with my sanding, but I think I brought them down to where they need to be. Kind of going back and forth between the 220 and the pad, depending on what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling. Let's take a look. Feels really smooth. Even these spots that look like they should be rough, they're actually very smooth. So, I like it. A big question is what do I do with the color? This Tulip Poplar has these yellow-green sections, and then it's got some regular, more typical colors of wood, and we've even got these dark sections with spalting and everything else. There's so much going on here. It's a lot. So I'm going to sand a little bit more while I figure it out. Let me know your thoughts, your suggestions. I'd love to know what you would do with this at this point besides sanding it down a bit more, especially what you would do in terms of stain or other kinds of finish and polish afterwards. But I'll get back to it. I'll show you the end result.